What is up, fellow developers? My name is Tyler Potts and welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video we'll be creating this web app. It's in Vanilla Javascript. In the future we're going to do this in, I say in the future, it might be the next video after this one, and the video after that one we're going to be doing this in Vue and React, so we'll see how it differs, the code differs in those. So we're going to type in a city here. I'm going to say New York. I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see right now in New York City it's -1 degrees. The skies are clear, but it's between -333 and 1 degrees. And it's Friday 10th of January 2020, New York City. So this is the app we're going to be creating. We're going to be using the Open Weather API, Open Weather Map API. And so without further ado guys, let's get started. I'm going to move this over to the right. I'm going to make a new direction. I'm just going to say make the, I'm going to CD out of this one. Clear this. And then I'm just going to say make the weather app JS. Do that, CD into my weather app. And we're going to press code dot and it's going to open it up in VS Code. I'm going to stretch this to be the right size, and we are going to be creating 3 files. The first file is going to be index.html, of course. The second file is going to be main.css, and finally the third file is going to be main.js. Now the biggest portion of this app is probably going to be the CSS, because there is a lot to do to style this up. Well, I say a lot, there's a little bit to do. Let's start off with the HTML. We're just going to quickly swap this over and in here just say weather app. We're then going to say, we're going to link it to our main.css file we've created. And then at the bottom, we're going to link this script source to our main.js and hit save. We're going to create an app wrap, as I like to call it, and that is going to just sit in here. I'm just going to say hello for 1 second. We're going to run a quick serve, so I'm going to press Ctrl-Alt-T to open up my terminal, my built-in terminal. I'm going to press clear, and then I'm going to say live-server. There we go. Hit enter, and that is going to serve our app. As you can see, it's now saying hello. And anytime we change this, so if we say world and hit enter, you can see it updates automatically. So you guys will see live updates as we are making this app. So in the markup, we're going to have the app wrapper. We're then going to have a header, which is going to have an input of type text. It's also going to have a autocomplete of off. It's going to have a class equal to search box. It's going to have a placeholder called search for a city. Under here we're going to have a main, and it's going to have the rest of our coding. So we're going to say section.location, and then here we're going to say city, and then in here we're going to place a default one. I'm just going to say Northampton GB. I'm then going to give a date, and this is going to say Thursday, the 9th of January, or it's the 10th now, isn't it, of January 2020, and that gets us that. We're then going to say current, and inside the current there's going to be 3 different areas. There's going to be the temperature, which is going to say 15 with a span. That's not a span, that's something else. And in here we're just going to say, I'm going to press, on the Mac I'm going to press Alt Shift 8, and that's going to give me the degree, so I'm going to put C. And I'm not sure why that's duplicating, that's very annoying. Okay, so that's good. We're then going to put in here the weather, and the weather is going to say for now, let's say sunny. And then the high hyphen low, so the high and the low, so it's going to be, let's say 13 Alt 8C divided by Alt Shift, I don't know why I did that first, and 16C. So that's the highs and the low, and as you can see we've got the stuff right here. So we need to actually get a image for our background. So I have one right here. I'm just going to paste it in, And there it is, it's called background. It's this actually the Firewatch game background, which is pretty awesome. And that game is amazing. I highly recommend it. So without further ado, let's crack on with the CSS, because that is all of our markup. So the first things first, we're going to remove the margin. You can see it moved. I think we're going to remove the padding, and we're going to give this a box sizing of border box. Hit save. I'm going to give this a body, and I'm going to say font family. I'm going to say, oh, let me zoom in as well, because a lot of people like this. Let's also close that sidebar. Font family of Montserrat, Montserrat and sans serif, with a background image equal to the image we put in there. So it's background.jpg. We're then going to have this background size of cover and the background pass of cover, top center. I don't know why I put cover. There you go. Oh, and we need to say background. Oh no, actually for start, we need to basically go in here and say app wrap. Give this a display of flex. We want to say flex direction column, and finally we're just going to set a min height of 100 VH. Hit save, and there you go. That's now made it full height. Or we also want to add on this a background image, but this could be a linear gradient, which is going to say to bottom, and we're going to put RGBA. You're going to say 0.3, and then to RGBA. That's RGBA to 0.6. Hit save, and there you go. We've got this nice gradient over the top, so it's not too much. I'm also going to bring this up a little because I feel like it's a bit tall. Cool. So we've got the background image on this. We now want to style the header, so we're going to say header. It's also going to be display flex. We're going to say justify center. We're going to say align items center, and also we're going to give this a padding of 50 pixels at the top, so we have some good spacing up there, and 15 on the left, right, and bottom. There we go, nice. We want to now style the header input, so under here we're going to say header. Let me just scroll down a little. We'll say header input, and this is going to be equal to a width of 100%, a max width of 280 pixels, padding of about 10 pixels, 15 pixels. So if we hit save, that's looking a lot better already. We're going to have a border of none, a outline of none, so we don't have any of the default styling. That's better. And then we're going to set the background color equal to a nice white or transparent white, so 0.3. Hit save. That hasn't done anything. Why is that not doing anything? Background color RGBA 255 comma. Hit save. There we go. We've got this nice little color now. We'll also give it a color of 3131. But underneath the background, we're also going to say border radius. It's going to be 16 pixels, 0 pixels, 16 pixels, 0 pixels. Hit save, and then we've got this nice little shape effect. Under this, we're then going to say probably a border bottom of 2 pixels or 3 pixels solid, and then we're going to give it a df AE00, and that is going to have a nice little color towards it. We're going to give the font size of 20 pixels, the font weight of about 300, and the transition equal to 0.2 seconds ease out. Hit save. There you go. That's a lot bigger. It looks a lot better. We're then going to say header input focus. So when you actually click in it, we're going to say background color is equal to RGBA. Again, 252525, but this time 6. So now when I select this, you can see it goes a lighter white, which I think is really nice. And let's actually style. Actually, you know what? The placeholder is actually pretty nice. I was going to style it, but I think it works fine like that. So let's now do the main. So we're going to give the main a flex of 100%. Hit save. We're then going to say padding 25 pixels, 50 pixels for the bottom. We're then going to display this as flex. I'm going to give it a flex direction of column, else it will sit weirdly. And this one we're going to say align items center, and then text align center. This will bring everything to the center of the screen. Good. Now that's starting to look a lot better. We will now, after the main, we'll say location.city. I'm going to give this a color of white, a font size of 32 pixels, and probably a font weight of medium with a margin bottom of 5 pixels. There you go. I think that looks really nice. Let's give it another location with a date, with the color again of white, with the font size of 16 pixels. There you go. I also think that looks nice, and I've spelled Thursday wrong. Let's correct that before I go insane. Thursday. So now below the date, we want to say .current.temp. So we're going to get the current temperature. We're then going to say color again of white, a font size of 102 smackers, because bam, because big font makes things look good sometimes. Said Tyler one time. Let's say margin 30 pixels, 0 pixels. Let's say text shadow of 2 pixels, 8 pixels, RGBA 0.5. Now we can mess around with this value here. If we hit save, you can see we get this no drop shadow, but we can probably make this 7.5. You can see it's nice and darker. I actually prefer 6. We can probably move it out. So we could say, let's say 12. 12 is probably too much, let's say 10. So 10 is probably alright, and let's say 4. No, I like 2. Yep, so that is how that is set out. We then want to get the current temperature span. So we're going to say current.temp span, and we'll give this a font weight of 500. So that just makes this not look huge. And then current weather. And this one's going to also have a color of white, a font size equal to 32 pixels, a font weight of 700, a font style of italic, also with a margin bottom of 15 pixels, and a text shadow. Again, this one's not going to be as powerful, but we're going to say text shadow 0 pixels, 3 pixels, RGBA 0.3, but add it up to a 4. Save. And it's very hard to notice, but it is there. Now finally, let's style up our current high-low. And in our high and our low, we're going to say color FFF font size of 24 pixels, our font weight equal 500, and text shadow of 0 pixels, 3 pixels, RGBA. And now hit save, and there we go. That is our app now fully styled. So I told you earlier it was going to take a while. It took a lot quicker than I thought it would. I don't know why I thought it was going to take a while, but that is it. That is the base styling of our whole weather app. So now we've got all that. You can see it looks really nice, but it doesn't actually work. Nothing actually works. So let's go into the main. And let's set up a few things. So first things, before we set up anything, I'm going to show you something. And if you drag, or if you go to your weather, home.openweathermap.org, or just openweathermap.org, you'll see at the top right it says sign in. You need to do that to get an API key, and we need the API key to actually use. You go to your API keys and you'll see your API key right here. So you can actually copy that, and then we can bring that back to our app. We can say const API is equal to key, and there's our API. We also need the base URL for the API, and I have that stored right here. So let me just put that right there. We then have to set up, well, no, that is it for the actual API stuff. So now we're going to say const search box, because we want to check when we hit enter on this search box. So we're just going to say, we're going to add just a we're just going to get this first. So we're going to say query selector dot search hyphen box. We're then going to say search box dot add event listener. We're going to say key press, and we're going to pass through set query. Now we're going to set up this function. So we're going to say function set query, and we'll go pass the event through. And inside this event, we're just going to say if event. Oh, that's not good. If event dot key code is equal to 13, so the enter button 13, not 14, then we will say get results, and we will pass through search box dot value, which will be our query. So under here, we want to say, well, actually for now, just to test this, we'll say console.log, and we're just going to say search box value. Hit save. Let's actually put this back. And over here, let's refresh, let's press. I'm going to open up the DevTools, and I'm just going to search for something here. So let's say subscribe right now. Enter. Get results is not defined, damn it. Let me just go in here and just uncomment that. Go back. Or no, sorry, recomment that and just say again this time. Now subscribe. There we go, and that has worked. It's printed it out correctly in our terminal. So back at this, let's reopen get search results. And we're going to type in get results. I'm going to pass through a query. And the query, we're going to then create, we're going to do a fetch. And in here, we've got to do this. We can say base, or sorry, API.base. We can then say I think it already has / yes, and now we can say weather, and we can say it's equal to question mark, and then we can say Q is equal to, and we can say our query, and then we can put an and now we need to say app ID or units actually, because we want to return this in metric and not imperial, but you can return it in whatever you want. And I'm going to say app ID is equal to, and we're going to say $API.key. And then after that, we're just going to say .then, and on the .then, we're going to say weather, and our weather app. We're going to return weather.json, because else we'll just get a HTTP request, and we're going to say display results. We now need to create a function called display results. So I'm just going to say function display results, and I'm just going to pass through the weather as the results. I'm just going to say console.log weather. So let me explain this a little, because I went a bit quick there. So what we've done here is we've set up a event listener on the search box when we press a key, and then the key we're actually looking to be pressed is number 13, which is equal to the enter key or the return key on your keyboard, and this will then run this code here. Once this code has ran, we'll then run a fetch request, which is going to say we're going to get the API.base, so this, we're going to attach the weather on the end. We're then going to pass through a query, which is got from our search box value, and then we're going to set the units to like Celsius instead of Fahrenheit, and then we're going to set the app ID, which is equal to the API key as well. And then this is going to return our weather. We're going to then convert it into JSON, and then we're going to pass that JSON through to our display results. named as weather. Now, if we come back here and we then open up our terminal, and in here this time I say something like London, hit enter, you'll see it tells me here we've got our information. So we've got London, we can set where it is, so there's Great Britain, so it's London in Great Britain, obviously there's a London in America. And that is it. So we have all those values now to use and to implement. Let's remove these console logs, except from weather, because we will need that. Now let's say let city. So we want to basically get these city elements. We're going to say document.query selector. Inside the query selector, we'll say location.city, and then we're going to say city.inner text is equal to, and we're going to do the strings, and we're going to say weather.name with a comma and space, and then we're going to say weather.size.country, and we're going to do that. Now if we come up here and let's say we put in New York, we hit enter, you can see it changes to New York City, US, which is perfect. That is exactly what we wanted. We now want to get the date. So the date, let's bring this up again. So the date is going to be, we're going to say let now equal to new date. We're going to say let date equal document.query selector, and we're going to pass through .location.date. And finally, we're going to say date.inner text is equal to, and we're going to call something called date builder, and we're going to create this function in 1 second. And we're going to pass through now, which is the date we created. So under here, we're just going to say function date builder, and we're going to pass through the D as date. And what this does is we're going to be able to get our date in that. So we need to actually set up 2 arrays, and I'm going to paste these in. This is the months array and the days array. And we need both of these to be able to get the right values. So we're going to say let day equal days, and we're going to say d.getDay. We're then going to say let date equal day, or d.getDate. We're then going to say let month equal months, d.get months or month. Year equal d.get full year. And then we're just going to return some template strings which say day. We're then going to get date. We're then going to get the month, and we're also going to get the year. We're going to hit save, and over on the right here, we're now going to search for somewhere such as Carlisle. Sorry, is that not it, or is it? Oh, Wigton. There we go, Wigton, and that is now updated the date to today's date, which is perfect. And then in the display after the now, we're then going to say let temp equal document.query selector, and we're going to say in here current.temp. I'm then going to say temp.inner HTML this time, because we're going to need some HTML. And I'm just going to say round, or we can say just math.round, and then we can say weather.main.temp. We're then going to say, I'm going to say span. Oh, not in there, out here, a span. And inside this span, we're just going to say degrees C, which is about right. We're then going to get the weather element, which is going to be equal to document.query selector, and we're going to say current.weather, and we'll say weather.inner text is equal to weather.weather 0, because it's an array, and then we're going to say main. And finally, or close to finally, we're just going to say high-low. And we're going to set this equal to document.query selector, and we're going to say .high-low. We're then going to say high-low dot inner text is equal to, and we're going to say weather.main.temp_min, and here we're going to press Control-Alt-8 or Control-Shift-8. We're then going to put a / here, and we're also then going to say weather.main.temp_max, and we're going to put in here degrees Celsius, which is everything we need, I think. Let's remove this console log just to make sure. So now over on the right, we can say something such as Jersey. Hit enter, and you can see here it's now updated everything on the page. It says Licking, US, Friday the 10th of January 2020. It's 9 degrees there, and they have a high of 6 or pretty much 7 degrees with also a low of 10. And also it looks like math.round. I think I need to put in here .to fixed. We'll put 0. And now if we search for Jersey again, no. What about 1? What's that return? If we go back to Jersey, nope, that's gonna, oh, that's the wrong one, that's why. So we also need to do math round down here. So I actually think math round on its own works. If I just say Jersey again, that's perfect. So let's also just go down here and say math.round, around the min. And then over here, we're going to say math.round, and we're also going to round the min. So now, once again, let's do Jersey. Hit enter, and as you can see, it says 7 and 10 degrees. So it's going to be between those. Although, that does make sense. Don't worry, I was reading that wrong. That's perfect. So that is how you make a weather app inside of vanilla JavaScript. Now in here we can say a lot more things. We can say Northampton, UK, and that will get us to Northampton in the UK. If we didn't have the UK, it'll get us to Northampton in Australia. Without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe. So thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep